page every day. And so that's, remember, what are you going to do with everything you do? You're going to, no, that's, those are your mantras. Knowing your 20 and being your conscious intent. And you will basically always do your best. From now on, you're going to do your, I'll try. No, you're going to do your best. Right. So, where you come from?
Hickory.
Oh, yeah, Hickory. What's Hickory like?
It's a small little town. It's okay. There's some crazy stuff that happens sometimes, but like it's pretty mellow. I'm just there.
So, being the Scorpio you are, what is your raison d'etre? What do you get out of being a Scorpion? What is the Scorpion, view, the window, the world view?
I'm not exactly sure. My main view whenever I do go out into the world is to just spread kindness and make people happy. Even if I can't be happy all the time, I want to make sure that people are.
So that's why you're an evolved Scorpio. That's most Scorpios. I'm going to kill that monkey.
No, I hate violence. I hate hurting people.
Right. So that's good. And there's very subtle ways to do it. So you got to really conscious intent.
Yeah.
So you're thinking of being sweet, kind, and nice, and good to everybody. Conscious intent. Because the thing is, you can do your best, but you can't be perfect.
Yeah.
Right. And so you need to find your own 3 rules. My 3 rules are: I used to be a doctor. So doctor, do no harm. The other one is, I do not get involved unless I am going in to save the innocent people, get them out of harm's way. And I only go in if I have a workable exit strategy. I'm not going to go in there to commit suicide.
Yeah.
I mean, it may look like I'm doing that, but I have a workable exit strategy, right? The other one is, I do not get involved unless I can learn how to do it better. You need to have, I'm just giving mine, but you need to have yours, 3 rules. And so if you use them, they're like guardrails. They keep you, because 40% of the time, you're a moron. I'm a moron. I'm a pretty smart guy.
I think you're very smart.
Yes. And look at this. This is back in the, let's look at this one. So this is 1984, New York, right?
Yeah.
And I was involved in stopping nuclear power, nuclear war, and war in general, right?
Yeah.
This lady right here, Christine Martin. Did you ever see a movie, Pixar movies, right? And their little logo is the lamp.
Yeah.
That was her PhD thesis.
Oh, wow.
That was the algorithm. She was the first human being to write an algorithm to do a graphic that did 3 dimensionals, because they used to have to do 1 frame at a time, just like they do, but with a computer it was like ridiculous, right? She made an algorithm that did the whole thing. And every other computer graphic that ever was done was based on that algorithm. And she got her PhD, yes, and she got a lot of credits, and she got on the board of SIGGRAPH. I mean, she started SIGGRAPH. And yeah, she would get, good paying jobs, but all the men were like, ugh, because she was just luminescent genius.
Yeah.
And so that was her. So those are the kind of women I hang out with. Yeah. and she couldn't stand men. So this is did you ever hear of rainbow gatherings?
No.
It's like when 20,000 flower children get together on 4th of July in the middle of a national forest. So I used to do that as an anthropologist. So this was in New York State. I was teaching at Cornell, and I'm doing research, really. And there was no, because the Dutch took it and rented everything. It didn't conquer it. So there were no national forests. So the only place that you can go as a citizen without getting a permit is a national forest. So that's why most of these things are done in national forests. So this was 1,000-acre thing that the Iroquois Nation had, because they're a separate nation. Grandfather David, who was the super duper chief of the whole thing, said, here, I'll let you borrow this. So we put this together, and this was in March when I went there, and we had to build roads and get drinking water and do all of the above. And there's my forever car. bought that for like $9, and I had it for years. And this is me living out there in the woods for a year. That's it. So I had my healing thing there. Here's the mud people. Here's a little pond. More of the mud people. So that's the gathering. That was quite interesting. This is, you ever hear of chemtrails?
Yes.
Well, this is chemtrails in 1984. Meaning they've been doing it a long friggin'
Yeah.
time.
I've heard so much about it.
270.
And people go, oh, that's just airplanes up there. No.
Yeah.
You know, this commercial airplanes do not fly like that.
Yeah.
So here's me doing theater in New York. And I would just put garbage cans on the end of one street and the other, block it off, and put together our stage. And we were doing a Celtic myth, the wisdom of the king. And there's me playing the king right there. And there I am. That's when I was really a big guy. I thinned down a great deal. And so I used to make art on sides of buildings and then just leave it there. I mean, cover a whole freaking building.
Like murals and stuff.
All kinds of stuff. I mean,
I love art.
so here, did you ever hear of a guy named Nikola Tesla?
Yes.
So I'm a student of Tesla. I'm a master electrician. My mentor, my boss, had the first license in the world to be an electrician. And he was Nikola Tesla's bench electrician. All the devices that Tesla invented, he built. That was my teacher.
That's insane.
So I learned all about zero-point energy, and anti-gravity, and wireless transmission of electricity. Tesla did in 1891, all of the above.
That's so cool.
And then Mr. Morgan and Rockefeller said, oh, we can't make money at free electricity. So they kind of made him invisible. And so anyway, this was, I started a thing called Alternative Technologies in the UN, right? And I made simple things that, like, one of the problems with Africa was potable water, right? Well, I had a ton of soda bottles, like 2-liter ones, right?
Yeah.
So I got them to go gather them all up, put water in it, put it out in the sun. Next day, get a funnel, put some cheesecloth, pour that water into the next one. And after 5 days, you go from water that would kill you to water you could drink by just doing that. No big machines, no big anything, no. And I got UNICEF to go administrate it in Africa. After 2 years, it saved 1 million people's lives. 3 years, 8 billion people's lives. 4th year, the company that made those bottles put something, because what was happening is that UV light would go into the bottle and kill everything. Right? Well, they did something worldwide to keep UV from going through the bottle. So after 6 years, it went back up. And I tried to, like, what are you guys, nuts? This is something. And basically, I was told, no, they have to die. That's a nice try, kid, but so we really think you're smart. You need to be one of us. I said, one of you? Fuck off. And that's kind of why I'm basically here. And I mean, I had the rich life. I worked in corporations, but it killed me. You know, so I'm telling you this story because I know it's going into your memory bank and pop out somewhere on the sideways. The whole thing is not like people are telling you what to do. You need to go out and do your own thing. You need to do your best. By doing other people's crap, like all those teachers that you told me about, you'd be worse off. Right? And if so your 20 is one thing, your 360 is the other thing. That's like knowing your surroundings, right? So before you sign up for the next semester's worth of classes, right now, this week, have you already signed up for next semester's classes?
Yes.
No, that's the thing.
I can cancel them if I want.
Well, what I would do is, do you have any teacher there who you respect and think of as a mentor? Not the one they assigned you, but anyone that you talk to or know. Well, go find one. Go find a couple, right? And study with them. So I was sent to school for 30 years where they paid me to go to school. They didn't just send me to school, and they didn't send me to what school? I went to schools like Cornell, and MIT, and Trinity in Ireland, and Oxford in England, and Sorbonne in Paris, and a whole bunch of others around the world and in the United States. I got paid to do it. And I didn't sit. I would be in I would be in lectures, but I would be there sent to study with X, Y, or Z professor. Did you ever hear of Joseph Campbell? Go remember that one, Joseph Campbell. Go read his books. Noam Chomsky, read his books. Howard Zinn, go read his books. Those are people I've studied.
Do you mind if I come back?
Go back to work.
I want to come back though.
Oh, I'm going to be here. I'm here, at least once or twice a week, and I will probably be here until what time is it now? What time do you get off?
I get off at they just need to get the front desk.
Okay. Well, I'll be here for another hour and a half.
Sure. Well, I go on break here shortly, so I'll just come.
Yeah, come on back. We'll talk some more. Yep. So that's what I do, kids. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. So I've been, looking at things, and so remember I said, the aliens are going to come land on the front lawn of the UN before 4th of July. So here it is, what is it? The 8th of July, 4 days later, right? The Prime Minister of Japan, not the present one, but the one who was in 220. Who's quite you should go look that guy up. He was just assassinated. And if you go look at what started World War I, it was an assassination in Sarajevo. I'll be here for the next hour or two. So we're heading into, we've been in strange times, since 2012, right? And we're just going deeper and deeper into them. And so it's a question of what's going on. So there's no one here. I'm going to go get something, and I'll be right back. And I want you guys to think of something to ask me, okay? I'll be right back. Listen to the music. Oh, go find a guy named Gil Scott.
Receiving backup, please. Receiving backup.
Are you tired of spending all your time on dating apps and not finding your match? The only one that you need is U-Dates. The people on there are so real and so ready for a relationship. If you're tired of being strung along,
Strung along. Okay. Ba-ba. Gil Scott Heron, play music.
Touch to select an app from the list.
Here we go. This is Gil Scott Heron. This guy was the daddy of R&B and rap.
A junkie walking through the twilight. I'm on my way home.
He did this in the 70s and 80s. I think his best, well-known
I left 3 days
The
ago,
Revolution won't be
but no one
televised.
seems to know
No
how
one,
to
no
go
one.
home. Home is where the hatred is. Home is filled with pain, and it may not be such a bad idea if I never went home again. Stand as far away from me as you can and ask me why. Hang on to your rosy beat. Close your eyes and watch me die. You keep saying, kick it, quit it,
Kick it, quit it,
God,
kick
but
it.
did you ever try
Did you ever try?
to turn your sick soul inside out? So that the world can watch you die.
Yes. That's Gil Scott Heron. He did that in the 70s, early 80s.
Jason, create these, Jason, create.
Ah.
Please leave your message.
Or blah 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 blah. Hey Rick, this is your Sensei Al Bob, and I'm in my elevator music office, and out in the deep green. That's not that far from you. You really need to come visit. And like where I'm at, I don't have a cell. I have to go into Boone. I'm really, maybe a little less than 30 miles from Boone, North Carolina. So from where you are, you get your butt to Boone. I can meet you and then take you into the inner sanctum of the deep green. But let's talk. I haven't talked to you in a while. This guy who just got assassinated in Japan. World War I got started by an assassination in Sarajevo. How did the war between England, France, and Germany start? Sarajevo. Anyway, so I've been talking about the big splat for a long time in the last 3 years. And, it's been following, COVID, first Donald Trump, COVID, then Ukraine war, and a zillion things in between, like the Supreme Court. So it's interesting times, and I just want your feedback on it, since you are on the street in the middle of it all. So stay safe, my friend, and I'll try you more often. I just haven't been around. So sick. Okie dokie. I just spent 20 minutes clearing my voicemail. So, you could. Oh, here's something. Like I said, this is my elevator of music. Here's my good friend, Gil Scott Heron. You should listen to his music. Gil Scott Heron. He is the father of spoken word jazz, hip hop, and rap. Listen back to that. He's not singing poetry. Where's the poetry? Home is where I live inside.
Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
Home again, home again, home again. Chicken, chicken, quick, chicken, quick. Home again.
Tanya Ramos, customer service, Tanya Ramos, customer service.
Please leave your message for 64645.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah.
Stands out on the mountain like a creature from another time. It inspires the baby's question
So do you know this guy? This is Gil Scott Heron.
for their mothers as they ride.
I'm doing a live chat right now.
But no one stops
Just
to
so
think
I-
about the baby.
Come and see.
How they
Page, you just figure out which poison you want,
we've almost
realizing which poison you want.
Yeah.
Big cup, too.
Yeah. It's supposed to last me from the day. I just choose the fruit punch instead of
It's something. Yeah. So here's a guy, Gil Scott Heron. His music is playing right now. You should go check him out. He's from the 70s and 80s. He's the father of hip hop / rap music. He did this. Did you ever hear of a term called spoken word? It's like poetry, but to music. And that's what rap is. Before rap, there was spoken word. So before rap, there was spoken word. Gil Scott Heron. He's on Pandora. Yep, yep. So you're taking your lunch now? Can you eat here? Oh.
recording has reached the maximum length. To replay your message, send.
No. Well, you're seeing what's in the day in the life. Right? Come back. Yeah. No. That way you can mosey through the pictures. Yep. Ah. Ah. All right. So is anything bothering you? Anything bothering you situationally? Something that you don't tell me, let's think of. You got something?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are the Celtic runes, right? They're a gazillion years old, way before the Bible. And they're divination tools, to figure out, right? It's like an ancient magic 8-ball, right? So there's 25 of these runes. And this is a book by Bloom. And in my mind, he's the best interpreter of this stuff. So I'm going to flip through the pages of it, right? And when you think I should stop using your gut, right? Your newly found gut, your conscious intent. So I'm flipping through the page and just say stop whenever you think I should stop. Okay. Read this to yourself. And that is the foundational answer to your question. Go to the next page. So, when did that? So, my and oh, did you read that last? So the ones on either side is courage, and the other one on the other side of acceptance is patience. So I would say patience, acceptance, and courage are the like foundational blocks of being a Scorpio, and an evolved Scorpio.
Yeah.
Did it speak to your issue?
Yeah. Exactly.
Isn't it pretty amazing? I bet that's
Yeah.
yes.
I was like, damn.
See, this stuff is not voodoo. It's not devil worship. It's same thing that Christianity, that Islam, that and it's very complicated to call Jewish people Jewish. They're the Hebrew nation, actually the Hebrew tribe. Why they're called Jews is because when they left the Mideast and Africa, they were always, because they had gone against their bond with God. And I don't like using the word God because, you know, the only time we ever really, really, really see the great creator is when he talks to Moses. And he's the burning bush, right? And the burning bush tells Moses, go to Egypt and free our people, right? But it wasn't from Egypt that they needed to be freed from, because they weren't slaves. They weren't cleaning the toilet. They were middle management. They were bankers, lawyers, Indian chiefs to the elite of the Egypt economic structure, right? So they were selling this old for chump change, right? So Moses had to go there to convince the Hebrew nation to get out of comfort, to get out of convenience. That's where we're stuck right now. And so that was what he was. And that's why they were out in the woods, in the hills, for 40 years and more. So they had to leave there, and they went, you know, to because they saw Jordan, you know. Moses up on the top, he's just about to die. He goes, there it is. They go there, and they go, what? We don't want it. It's like, no. So they went into Europe. They got on the Silk Road, and all they bumped into this crew called the Khazarian nation, which was like ISIS. You know, ISIS cut the guys in black, cut the heads off.
Yeah.
So those guys stuck themselves on the Silk Road and would rob, rape, and steal. And until they robbed, raped, and steal, and nothing was left, and they moved on. And they kept them, these places, they set up camp as their caliphate. That's what do, right? So the Hebrew nation, them kind of, and made the Anunnaki, and then went into Europe. So they had all this, they had nothing but bling, right? So all these kings were warring against each other, France, England, Germany, everybody, and they all needed money. So the only people who had money were these guys. They had bling. So they weren't allowed to be lawyers, doctors, or hold elected office or really own property. All they had was jewelry. And that's how they became Jews. Because they were really the Hebrew tribes, the 12 nations, right? So anyway, no one even goes there. Doesn't even talk about any of this, right? Because when they do, you start to, once you deconstruct the story, you start to see the holes in what our reality has told us to be.
Yeah.
like the school you're going to. Why you don't like it is because they're all freaking morons just reading it out of a book.
Yeah.
Not like this book where I just say, tell me when to stop. You know, you think your teacher who was teaching you, I think he said, okay, kids, take the textbook and just flip the pages and then stop. You know, you would probably learn more there, right? So, as a, what's the first thing you can remember as a child? You know, like not so much like a spanking or a this or a tragedy, but more like of a realization.
Change is inevitable.
When did you get that idea?
My mom could never really keep a job. She was a single mom. And so there was always a moment where we were never in the same place for more than like a month or two. So it would change all the time, and I still would never have gotten like I was never fully used to it. Until it's just like it got to the point of like, yeah, I'm just expecting it to happen all the time. But I still don't like change super too much.
Well, no one does.
I've adjusted to it a lot more than some people.
Right, because you expect it. So it's not a shock.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, like right now, you know, with COVID and Donald Trump and the economic situation, well, actually, it has been this way forever. Yeah, we've always, I mean, and I'm old enough. You might have heard of the oil embargo of the 70s, right?
I think so. It sounds familiar.
Right. So, and it wasn't really, there was plenty of oil. But it was the economic, what happened was America went bankrupt. I mean, and we're doing it right now.
Yeah.
But we really, I mean, New York City went broke. One day they had 30,000 cops, and then they had 8,000. You know, they no longer collected the garbage. They no longer swept anything. They no longer fixed anything. They no longer, that went on for 10 years. And what happened was the really rich people that's when rich people really got rich.
Yeah.
And the poor people really got poor.
Yeah.
And then we had Ronald Reagan. And he said, well, the way we're going to fix this is decontrol it. We have too many rules, too many laws. You know, who needs that air pollution thing? Who needs this? Who needs that, right? And that's when the rich got even richer. And now we're going through that same thing. You know, Donald Trump did a good job on that. But what has happened is our Congress now has been nullified. There's nobody who has a little bit, nothing can get passed, nothing can be pushed through, nothing can be politically made a deal. So now we have the Supreme Court deciding everything for us.
Yeah.
You know, not just Roe, but you know, they passed a thing where the EPA can't make rules on air pollution anymore.
Yeah, I know. I hate that.
I mean,
saw that. I was
right.
Like, seriously?
Yes, seriously. And, you know, they also passed a thing where now states, you know, your state could, you know, pick a certain guy for the center, but the legislature can say, oh, no, we're going to have this other guy that we like better and never even ran.
That's dumb.
Right. Not dumb. It's called fascism. Dumb is when you and I drink soda.
Yeah.
That's dumb because we know better, but we're lazy and we're addicted to that little rush of ooh yeah. Now you drink a gigantic thing, and I just put about that much in it because I have diabetes. If I drink that much, I keel over
Oh no.
and be but I'm really dumb.
I don't think you are.
No, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know better, but it's
No,
like
it is.
it's like I'm playing Russian roulette with a soda cup.
Yeah. See, I tried not to drink soda for a while, and then it just happened. I hate it. There's no way to get away. It feels like
Drink that much for a week, you know. So you know that's not going to kill me.
Yeah.
That I would be in shock right there. But I did have a little bit of this. I mean, I didn't eat the whole thing, but because I love Napoleon. You know, this place has a pretty good bakery.
I love our stuff that we have here.
The diabetes, man. I can't. I mean, I had 4 slices of bread and my blood sugar went up like 25 points.
No.
And I get food from the food pantry, and I'm on the list as diabetic, and all they gave me was ring dings and bread. Like, we want you to die.
Yeah, like it's okay. Take it.
So what I do is I have it next to me in my car, and when I see guys going, "We'll work for food," I stop and like hand them ring dings and bread. But money is irrelevant. I used to make a lot of it. Now I don't have any of it. Well, because I died. They took most of it trying to take my money away because I was dead. And I had to come back from the dead to like, stop it.
Yeah.
I don't want that. And so to really realize, and when I died, I went up and there were balloons and signs saying welcome home and cake saying welcome home. And my master was there and he was smiling and the other lower echelon were like patting me on the back, telling me what a great job I did. And then I said, now I can just kick up and just relax for a couple centuries. And my master said, well, you've done a great job. This is true, but you still have about 11% that you didn't do. That means, yes, you can die and kick back for a couple of centuries, but you'll have to be thrown in the wearing blender of karma, and God knows where you'll be popped out. So don't you want to be able to be the decider of your fate? Go on back down there. And so I did. And I woke up like this with an IV in my arm, and I was being rolled into an operating room where they were going to crack my chest, do a quadruple bypass, and cut my legs off. And they all shat a breath because I had fentanyl. I mean, fentanyl is designed to knock you down, so when they cut you open, you don't wake up.
Yeah.
They don't want you to wake up when they're like tinkering on the inside.
Yeah.
And I'm just, and people like ran away. They were like scared.
Yeah.
And the guy who's in charge, the drug doctor, he was like, you can't be awake, I said, well, where am I? What are you doing? Why am I, what? And they said, oh, we're going to give you, cut your legs off and bypass. I said, no, I did not sign anything.
Yeah.
Well, that guy over there, I said, he's just my client. He has nothing to do with me. He has no authority. If you touch me, I'll own your children's children.
Yeah.
I'll put you in a poorhouse. Because I was working for really good lawyers then. And that guy just wanted me to do my job. And I conked out in a plate of spaghetti with him, and he was freaking out. So and this doctor said, oh, well, let us do this, and he'll be able to do that in 2 weeks. No, you do not come back from open heart surgery in 2 weeks. So anyway, that's a whole nother story. But on the other side of it, when I came back here, I had to let go of all of that. Yes, I made a lot of money for about 20 years. I spent every nickel of it. And I had such an amazing credit rating, they lent me more money than God. And then I just had to walk away from all of that. So now I live in the woods. I can only keep one little, so I have a really pretty place in the middle of the woods, and that's it.
Do you like it then?
Yeah, it's heaven. The only problem is for 20 years, I am like 30 miles from Boone, 30 miles from Johnson City, about 50 miles from Kingsport. I'm in the middle of, so it's that, there's the Appalachian Mountains here, the Blue Ridge here, and between it is these Sawtooth Mountains. It's like a accordion between it, right? That's where I live. And I didn't think, because there's no internet, there's no television, there's no cell phone, there's no nothing. Everything rich people need. And I didn't think they would show up, but because of COVID, they hit it like a lotus. Bad insects, cockroaches. And so they haven't really landed right on my doorstep, but they're all around me. And I see them destroying everything.
Yeah.
And that's one of I always find the most amazing, beautiful place, stay there, and then the other people come, years later and destroy it. you ever hear a place called the Grill in Jamaica? In Jamaica, it's a volcanic island, right? And Ocho Rios is where the rich people have a beach, and there's no other beach. Everything else is rocky, craggy. And there's one place on the other side of Jamaica. It's called the Grill. It's where the Rastas and the poor people all live. And it wasn't like their beach, like black and white people. It was just that's on the other side out.
Yeah.
There were no roads, no electricity, no water. But it was beautiful. And I stumbled in there, and there were other rich people who came and said, "Well, this is amazing," and bought some amazing property for nothing and built a beautiful house, but there was no electricity and no water.
Yeah.
So their beautiful house they couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
So I showed up, and this lady, Mrs. Brown, she had the whole beach she had the whole beach, like 6 miles of the most beautiful beach with volcanic mountains going up into the hills. Anyway, the real adventurous young people, bourgeois, would come and have their, get a bus there and then hike 5 miles.
Yeah.
So I was there, and I turned one of those houses into a nightclub. I got windjammers and photovoltaics and made a little thing. When the water came in and went out, the tides went big deal. So I made electricity by the rising and dropping of the ocean, and so I lit the thing up and had a slushy machine, but you can't have a nightclub for white people without slushy machine with alcohol and an ice machine. And so go take your little magic box there and look up Rick's in the Grill. Rick's Cafe in the Grill, Jamaica. Yep, hit the button. It probably has pictures on it.
That's so pretty.
Mm-hmm. So that was a house, and I turned into that.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I've done with a good third of my life. I built nightclubs, really strange. I would just be in places in Europe and Africa, look around and go, let's do this. And I would get people, yeah, I've been wanting to do something. We go up and do it. And they would end up doing 89 to 99% of the work. I was just motivating for it.
All these pictures are so cool.
Right.
The water is so pretty.
Yes. And can you see how the rocks?
Like that.
Yes, shipping it out. So people could go swimming there.
So cool. I love that.
And then go look at the Grill Jamaica. Sandals is there, and hedonism is there, and all these large corporations took it all over. And when it was just Mrs. Brown and the natives, it was so sweet. Everybody was innocent and just loved you. And now everyone's smoking crack and prostitutes, and and that's why they're all gated communities. There's no crime there at all. Does it show Negril?
Huh?
You've seen
I'm
Negril?
trying to find it. How do you spell it?
Negril. Well, go to Rick's and then.
Oh, I found it.
Right there.
Oh, that's so tiny.
Yes. And that was the most amazing. Yes. But they're just showing you that beautiful thing. You should, like go to hedonism and sandals, and there are all these really super gated and almost dark. Meaning people do the nastiest things in these, like hotels. It's like it wasn't like when I was there. So the other thing to go Google is Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Owl.
Sensei what?
Owl, O-W-L, Bob, B-O-B. Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Owl.
Found it.
Yep, that's me. That's us right now doing the live chat.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yes, you're part of the show. So save it, subscribe, hit the little bell. So I've been doing this for about 3 years, maybe 4.
You enjoy it.
Yeah, well, it's one of my services. I'm here to serve, right? I'm talking to you. Yes, I am enjoying this conversation.
I'm glad.
Yes, and I'm getting a new friend, and I always like that. But I'm here to, and I only talk to people who I know will hear what I'm saying and get something out of it. Somebody wants to be combative. Well, that's stupid. It can't be true.
Yeah. I believe all of that kind of stuff. It has a lot of meaning to me. So when we talk about it, I'm like, I take it into great consideration.
Right.
I think about it a lot.
And you mull it over. That's all that you can do.
Yeah.
And then let your worldview be reflective of it. So your first thing was about being able to accept change, which is a very good thing. That's a very, how old do you think you were then? 5 or younger?
Probably a little older. I would say 10 or 11, maybe 9, because I had moved from Ohio to North Carolina, and that was a big change. We had never moved
That far.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad was in the Air Force, so it was always, and all my brothers and sisters did that. I was the youngest. My mom had me when she was 50, so I was placed with my grandma, which was the best thing that ever. She unconditional Italian grandma, middle of Harlem, which was all not just black, but every kind of nationality. It was like a salad bowl. It wasn't a melting pot. It was a salad bowl, right? And all my friends were everything you could think of. And Second Avenue, every 4 blocks was a different nationality, with 100 nationalities, and everyone spoke their language. And they weren't forced to speak English. By the second generation, and they kind of spoke it, but it was never a forced thing, because the beauty of all those cultures, in a salad bowl, was pretty friggin' simple. You walk 3 blocks, you'd be a different smell of a different food.
That's so cool.
I know, and that's what I grew up. And just over there were all these amazing colleges, Columbia, and all these theological institutes, and our public school was in them. Instead of having some moron public school teacher, I had this unbelievable professor teaching me 2nd grade.
That's so cool.
Because they just kind of pushed us into that school, and we'd be sitting in there with the college students, and for us it was 2nd grade, for them it was college.
Yeah. That's so cool.
But that's how I turned out. And through that, I had all these people who said, well, you're an interesting kid. And I was like Gumby. They were all sculpting me. So did you ever have a teacher like that in grammar or middle school or high school, where they saw something in you that you didn't even see in yourself?
I would say my band teacher, most of my band teachers, one specifically, his name was Mr. Nealon. I started middle school, and I wanted to do band, but I didn't, because I was like, it was for nerds. So I was like, I'm not going to. Then I heard them playing one day, and I wanted to. And he was the one that believed in me and was like, try this, try all the instruments.
Which one did you play?
French horn. That was the only one I could get a sound out of, and that was one of the hardest ones as well. But
And it's a great sound, though.
Yeah, I love it. I still play it now. And he was like, try it.
Why don't you study music? What's their music department here?
It's really good music department. It's more of a hobby, not something I can do forever.
No, you're going to be doing it forever. So you should take, what you need to do is in that school, like I told you need to go find some teachers who can be your mentors. Who don't even have to teach you whatever you think you're going to do. Go find the person there who loves the French horn, who is the French horn. Go take a music course, because you can take a music course. They have electives. Study with them. Do that, and do that. Are you going to have anything to do with school now? Or are you?
No, not during summer. I could go back in August.
Okay, so August will be here sooner than you know.
Yeah.
You should this week or whenever you have a day off, the next day off, go up there and find the French horn person. And even if you don't meet them personally, find out who it is. And then email them. Say, hey, I'm to the school here, and I'm a freshman. So you're still a freshman, or
I'm a
now
sophomore.
you're now a sophomore.
Yeah.
So I'm here as a sophomore, and I'm thinking this is going to be my major, but I know that I want, since I'm here, I want to experience everything I can. I played. How long have you played the French horn? Like 8 years, 10 years? Yeah. So you got it down. So I played the French horn for 8 years. I'd love to come with my friend. You bring your French horn here?
I don't have one personally. They're very expensive, so
Right.
I couldn't afford one. But
Well,
I used to
they got them here.
Yeah.
So yeah, so do that. I mean, don't think about it. Do it. Like what did I say?
Just do it.
Yes, do it. Right. So go do that. And then whether you get into music or whatever, it will refresh. You know, like in your computer where it gets stuck,
Yeah.
you refresh it,
All right, bye.
it'll do that.
I will be right back. I am off my break. I've got to go put this up.
Right.
And then I'm going to do some more cleaning, but I will stop by again.
Okay, I'm gonna be here another whatever.
Thank you for talking to me. I love
No problem. We're buds.
you. Every time I see you here now, I will talk to you.
Yes, you'll stop by.
It's so fun. I love it.
So you've noticed me here before, right?
No. It's my first time.
So the universe just put us together.
Exactly.
So you now have you have my card, and
Yes.
my email is vajudawake42@gmail. Everything is on my card.
Well, I'll be talking to you again soon.
Yeah, and if you show, like right now, next time I do a thing and you're not working, you see it, join the chat, because the people in the chat are quite interesting. You could have, there's a place for more friends for you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, sweet. Okay, where are my glasses?
You've made my day as well, because it was not great until I started talking to you. So, thank you.
That's what I'm here to do.
Thank you so much.
Okay, 57 minutes. Hello, Bob. Eddie, how you doing, bud? You came and you're going. So,
Publix lemonade bottle, or do you want Publix lemonade or sweet tea bottle? Lemonade, what do you want? I'll have to do that.
do.
I also need a fork.
Please leave your message. 6464644.
Hey there, handsome. Just saw your message. I've got the live chat going. And I'll probably be at it for another half hour before I have things to do, people to see. Anyway, tomorrow's Saturday. Maybe I'll be up and around. Get a few bars, I'll give you a jingle. But tomorrow and Saturday, we're supposed to have a bunch of rain next 2 days, so I'm gonna, be at that. So, anyway, I interviewed someone. I didn't put her on the screen. I hope her voice got picked up here in the elevator of elevator music. My office of elevator music is off. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. If I have some bars before I leave the home neighborhood, I'll give you another buzz, probably 2 or 3 maybe. Okay? Anyway, so I haven't even been an hour yet. It's 2:30, so I got to go pretty soon. And I'm all charged up. Everybody's being charged up.
You stay right there.
Elaine, customer service, please. Elaine, customer service.
play Gil Scott Heron music. You know, the digital world will just do what it wants with you, right? I only do this because it is the vehicle I have to speak to you. And that I can shamanically drop a pebble into the World Wide Web and affect it greatly in a positive way. So that's where I'm at. And this was an interesting little show. This is it.
Again, everybody.
O noble muhajirun, O migrants. He's talking to Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali. These were ones who migrated from Mecca to Medina. Because this was at the masjid of Rasulullah. He said, O noble men of muhajirin. There are 5 bad things that are going to happen. They are going to befall my ummah towards the end of time. وَأَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ, I seek refuge in Allah that it does not happen in your time. It's such a difficult challenge, he said. And I want the young people to listen to this especially. Parents also indirectly. Close one ear and open the other ear. He said, number 1, when sexual obscenity becomes a widespread norm in my ummah. And it will never happen.
So that's been going on forever. You know, come on. You know, people who say the end of times are coming. No. The only time end of times is going to come is when everyone can get along and we are serving love's co-creation, because that's the time to move forward. Now, we just experienced 2012. We have moved from the Piscean age into the Aquarian age, right? And, that gives us this opportunity to serve love's co-creation, you know? And see these little scars? This is where, my sister tried to kill me with a metal bunny rabbit, and Sister Holy Roller Spade crushed my head. I had to wear a helmet for a whole year. Yeah, she broke the orbitus eye, couldn't see. That's why this eye is pretty screwed up. But now it's, you know, they put in the robot lens, so I see a lot better with this eye. And this ear doesn't work as I, design.
Thank you.
So anyway, no, sexual perversion has been here forever. It's not any worse. With social media, we get to see a little, but it's come on, really. Let's see.
A widespread norm in my ummah, and it will never happen except if they start committing it publicly and publicizing it openly, meaning they feel proud about talking about it. They feel good talking about it. They don't have to do it, but they talk about it, they publicize it. Rasulullah ﷺ said they make i'lan for it, they make an advertising for it. Do you know what that means? It means that when you're at school, for example, at high school, and you hear your friend talking about...
Yeah, I went to high school in the 1960s, and they were talking about it. Anyone who tries to control you with fear, that's not the right thing. That's the devil. The great creator is love unconditional. Jesus is forgiveness unconditional. There is no fear. So we're surrounded right now by fear. So that means that the hidden hand, Satan, is losing its grip. It's double downing on everything. It's a great opportunity. And it's not going to be because the end of times are coming. Somebody asked Jesus that, and he said it was above his pay grade. In actuality, these aren't even times. What we experience in the material world is an illusion, or love is all there is. The need, the want, it's an illusion. The mind wanting to eat. It's Napoleon, right? I only ate half of it because I knew if I ate any more of it, it would not be good to my blood system. So, instead of getting a gigantic cup, I drink about that much of soda, right? But still, when I go home and take my blood sugar, it'll probably be a good, 30% higher than it should be. Which, I keep my blood sugar in such a good realm, somewhere between, 109 and 130, right? And so it'll be somewhere between 125 and 150, which is not, anything above 200 is like, oh, that's getting bad. I knew people who would live with their blood sugar at 500, right? And I'm not taking any can't afford the pharma drugs. So, my diet, I've gotten to a place where my diet is very good at keeping my blood sugar and my blood pressure and all the rest. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later, and maybe not in the next few days because my neighbors has visitors the next few days, so we'll be around his porch. And I don't have that much gas money left. So, hey, kids, if you want to send me something by PayPal, I would truly, truly appreciate it. Because with this inflation stuff, I used to be able to get by pretty good on $400. It's now, I still get by. I get food, and my garden is coming in pretty good. So it's all good. So anyway, that's my report. I hope you enjoyed today's show. I will see you later. Alligator, right?